Good morning and welcome to Escape to Nature. And you are with myself, Alex, and we're currently at Gari Dam in Djuma with Dewey and a younger hippo is here with him. Apparently we're 5 overnight, and the female with 2 young calves apparently moved off. So just the 2 of them at the moment. Perhaps we'll get a glimpse of the others. I'm not too sure where they might have moved off to, but nice to have these 2 here. Looks like a little bit of a sunbathe going on. Not too much wind really to speak of. So nice to have some other calm and pleasant scenes to enjoy. Awesome that the hippos are here, and it looks like they aren't that camera shy at the moment. A number of cool birds around too. Some emerald spotted wood dove, I've heard black crowned chagra, woodland kingfisher, and I did hear a water thickney a moment ago. So keeping our ears kind of to the ground, listening to see who else may be around in the area. Good morning, John. Thanks very much for tuning in. And yes, I'm sure it will be a rather fantastic morning. So it is fantastic that these 2 hippo are here. And we're probably just going to spend some time with them for a moment. We'll pick up on some of the other birds, maybe look at our parrots when we can, provided they want to play ball with us. Otherwise, just hope to have a busy day. But no doubt it will be a fun escape to nature. And again, thanks for tuning in. Fantastic. So Max just giving me some insight. For those of you who don't know, Max is an MC, and Max is telling me that the brown-headed parrot had an altercation with an African harrier hawk earlier. So it used to be known as a gymnogene. I do still prefer that name. And very adapted, also being able to kind of hang vertically and hunt and get into nests and little breeding kind of cavities in trees. Apparently they did ward it off. That is obviously a good thing for those parrots. So long may that continue. But awesome that we get to sit here with our hippo at the moment. And just something interesting that I did see, but seen some quite cool footage. It was across in the Masai Mara where it did happen, but it was footage of a leopard that ended up taking a hippo calf. And I hadn't heard of that actually being documented before. Leopards do take a variety of different things, but this was really something to be seen, and it did look like a rather young calf as well that this leopard managed to take and grip out of the water and then run off with. So very brave leopard at that. The leopards can be very brave. I know of a very big male leopard that used to be here in this area. His name was Mvula, and I did see him. I actually had the pleasure of him mating outside my room around 15 odd years or so ago, and he really was quite a massive leopard, and he was known also for creeping in through buffalo herds and taking buffalo calves too, something that was documented with him. The leopards in this area are known to take a number of different things, and I've seen them take giraffe calves, and they are also very fond of zebra foals. But really quite interesting being able to see a leopard take a hippo calf. Not something I'd ever heard of before. But these hippos not in any danger to leopard, and I don't think those calves would be either. They would probably be way too big, and of course under very good protection if that was the case. However, looks like a little bit of a chill going on at the moment. A little bit of activity also going on and around the area as well, but can't help that. Perhaps we'll get a little bit of an ear shake. Would be nice to get a hippo yawn. We'll just have to wait and see. So lovely to spend some time and say good morning to our hippos. And talking of saying good morning, it's time for us to do exactly that with Andrew across in Amakhala.
Hello, 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 and good morning, everybody, to another wonderful day here in Amakhala Game Reserve on what seems to be a very cloudy and cold day with a bit of wind at the moment. It seems like most of the country is facing some high winds, and we are definitely in the brunt of it. Good morning, my name is Andrew, and I have Mr. Mpo behind the camera. We are dressed fully warm, and I am wearing my long shorts today, which I call my trousers, which are going below the knee. So I'm feeling a bit warm. Are you warm, Mpo? Wonderfully warm. All right, good one. And there we go. We have a black wildebeest just trying to keep warm themselves. I don't blame them. Shame. They must be fairly cold this morning. Last night was cold, and it led all the way up to this morning until now. It's a great idea that they've got, and we are pretty much copying them. We are standing in the sun, hoping that the sun is going to warm us up nicely and get our bones defrosted, so that we can be out and about without any problems this morning. Okay, so a good few of them are lying down. The majority is actually lying down, but there's a good portion of them that is also standing up. Shame, and with this winds, they do battle to hear properly. And sometimes it even brings in smells that might not necessarily be nearby as it travels with the wind all the way up to them. So sometimes you find animals become nervous in the wind because they just cannot hear and smell properly. But they look relaxed. They look like they're comfortable, content here, no problems. And just to give you a little bit of an update, we are going to try and look for the 3 cheetah. Ah, Soli, that is such a cool comment. Thank you. You say we're the dream team. Ah, that's so nice of you. Really appreciate that comment. And it definitely gives us a boost for the day. So very nice. Thank you so much. Let's watch them a little bit. Let's see what's going on here exactly. So you will notice one thing. As they are sort of resting in an inactive state, you'll notice that they all are sitting down in different directions. This is a very, very clever strategy that the animals have learned to adopt long time ago. There's no point all facing one direction. What if the predator comes from behind? And so everybody must just choose their own independent direction. And if there's any danger that perhaps does arrive, that someone hopefully is going to see that danger. Now there's a few youngsters in this group, and we know that the 3 amigos are in this northern area over here. So for the most part, those adults are fairly safe, but not the calves. Now I must say the cheetahs, the 3 amigos, have done some short work with a lot of the young animals out in this northern area. They've gone for mountain zebra youngsters. They've gone for quite a wide variety of youngsters. I believe they also caught a common reedbuck at some point. And then yesterday, did we see them yesterday? Oh, I can't even remember. Did we see the 3 amigos yesterday? Oh, I can't even remember if we saw them yesterday. But the last time we did see them, they were quite full. And the stomachs were looking really good condition. And so they've definitely been hunting things around here. Now there's quite a bit of cloud buildup. So I wonder what the next few days is going to bring, because with these winds, usually if there is rain sort of in the area and then the winds arrive, that winds chases away the rain. It blows it all away. But now, when on a day like today, with all this wind that's happening, you might find that it might blow in a weather system from somewhere else. Now, most of our weather out here in the Eastern Cape is actually influenced, by the weather in the Cape. So if Cape Town is, or that area, the Western Cape, is bitterly cold, and you're going to find that out here it's going to be bitterly cold. And the reason for that is that the weather basically travels down the coastline. It's a path of least resistance, and then it hits us square on. You can just hear an ant-eating chat, busy singing away. Such a lovely little song that they do sing. Good morning, Johnny. You're quite right, eh? We actually saw a giraffe earlier on that is busy lying down at the moment, and also doing much like what these wildebeest, these black wildebeest, are doing, just trying to keep warm. The sunning is a very important part of the animals' days, and I'm not sure if you can notice, but we've got a bit of topography here. So there's a big slant on the land here. So there is going to be slightly elevated areas, and they're right on this elevated area here. So theoretically, they should see things that are happening around them. And then also, because it's elevated here, the sun is going to reach them quite nicely. So we find with animals like the red hartebeest and the black wildebeest, often going up on these slopes.
We hope that when you watch Wild Earth, you will fall in love with nature. We know that our explorers share a passion for nature and want to make a difference. Wild Earth Schools is back. Sign up to be an explorer, and your subscription will help us reach the future conservationists of our planet. Invest in something that truly matters, encouraging children to care for our beautiful wild Earth. Wild Earth Explorers, make a difference.
Now, if this was a blue wildebeest, it would be totally different. So a blue wildebeest, it's also a black animal, and they call them the blue wildebeest because sometimes, with a certain angle of light, they tend to take on this bluish sort of gleam. But the blue wildebeest has got a black tail. So that's a good way of, telling the difference between the two with a quick look. Alexa, yeah, very dramatic clouds, isn't it? And I think everybody in the mission control knows me by now, especially Jarrett, one of our directors. We've got a thing going. We call each other dramatic clouds, and we both enjoy it very much. But now, Alexa, we need rain out here. We need lots of it. I know things are looking green at the moment, but historically, there should be a lot more rainfall. In the last 6 or 7 years, we haven't reached the annual rainfall. And so, with big rains comes challenges. We can't really do much out here in the bush when we are, filming in the rain. But at the end of the rain, when things start to get green, the bush really livens up. The animals all, gain condition quite rapidly. And some of them will go back into a condition to breed, and you might find that there would be some births to follow. But now, when it's dry like this, the animals really do adapt quite well. And they are used to harsh elements, such as, rainy times, also drought times. Winter is solidly on its way now, and in the next month or so I think we are all going to be bundling up quite warm. Okay, we're going to keep moving on a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to send you to a good friend of mine, Cedric in Madikwe. Let's see what's going on there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrew, and good luck on those 3 amigos. I'm hoping that you are lucky that side. But yeah, as you can see, we've got some waterbuck on the other side of Chukuru Dam. We've got a little baby, a little calf, very small, and you can see the coloration of that calf. It's almost like the color of a impala. Still that very tawny light brown color. Of course, using that as just camouflage and just for safety in case any predators do come. It can blend in with the surroundings. And of course, we've got 2 beautiful females and then a stunning male in the middle. Those beautiful recurved horns of his. He's just got his head up now. Many times you'll find these antelope not veering too far away from water areas. So they always make sure that they're very close to the water and use it as safety as well. So in case if predators like lions do chase him, you'll find that waterbuck, they will try and run into the water and stay out of the lion's mouth. Very important to them. But there is a stunning male that really standing up, very proud. And that little one is so cute. And very fluffy as well. If you really take a look at the waterbuck, they are so fluffy. Oh, the little one just got a fright. Oh, what's happened there? I think maybe one of those spur-winged geese just flapped its wings a few times and gave that little calf a fright. But yes, it is a beautiful day here at Madikwe. This morning it started off very cold, and yeah, it was quite nippy this morning. And it looks like in just the last half an hour, the sun has really come through, and it's just now heating up quite a bit. So hoping that these dams are going to be a little bit busier compared to earlier this morning. The dams are very quiet. But yes, glad to be on Escape to Nature, and hoping we can find something nice and interesting. I'm hoping Andrew finds those amigos. It'll be nice. My plan for the morning is I'm going to head into an area where apparently they had lions. And I'm going to see if we can follow up there shortly. Yeah, I've been, we're going to go that side just now. But anyway, my name is Cedric Dold, and I am the naturalist here at Madikwe, and behind the camera we've got Igor. So thank you for joining us. But I see there's something splashing on the other side there, pretty much where those spur-winged geese is. There's something in front there. It almost looks like the crocodile might be there, just exactly where that one waterbuck is walking. So I just saw a little bit of a splash going down there, because there is a crocodile of about maybe a meter and a half that hangs around this dam. Cindy, good morning. Yes, I'm glad you got another baby waterbuck. It is, they are really cute, but it's just lagging behind Mom at the moment. I can't really see it. You can see this waterbuck is just moving towards his spur-winged geese. Not too phased about this female. And I just love those rings on their hindquarters, around the bum area. Well, we haven't even seen elephants come down to the water today. That is very strange for Madikwe, but I'm sure that'll happen very, very soon, or anytime soon there. I'm sure we'll get those beautiful big animals coming down for a drink this morning. Oh, what a beautiful setting it is. But I think as soon as it starts getting a little bit hot, I think we're going to try and go and take a look at those lions, see if we can go and find them. But while we do that, let's head over to Andrew to see what he has got in store for you.
Thanks, Cedric, for best wishes with the three amigos. But in the meantime, we have found something very, very different. So we've got a very, very, very old giraffe bull. I wonder what he's doing there. Maybe just having a smell, and a group of eland as well. Oh, this giraffe is ancient. It's difficult for me to age giraffe, but if I had to sort of guess, I would say well over 20 years old. Maybe closer to 24, 25, roughly around about there. So this bull has lived a very, very good life and is still going. You have a massive eland in the middle of this group here. Wow, look at that dewlap. It's almost like an elephant's ear. Shame, this poor giraffe is actually covered in ticks. As I look with binoculars, I can see between the groin there, there's all these little black little speckles. It's got hundreds and hundreds of ticks between the tail there. And you will also notice that the left hand ossicone, which is on top of the head, is broken off. What happens is sometimes when giraffe, start fighting too early on, and the ossicones haven't yet fused onto the skull, and you might find that it can break and it won't grow back, unfortunately. Or it could be a situation that this bull spent a good portion of his life fighting other males, and then during a dispute, perhaps there was a slightly weaker ossicone that managed to break. Now those ossicones on top of the giraffe's head is actually made of calcium. It's not keratin or anything like that you find on the antelopes with their horns. Made up of calcium. And for this giraffe to take in the calcium to form beautifully strong ossicones, it's going to need to do a thing called osteophagia. Now osteo is bone and phagia is to consume. And so when this giraffe walks through the bush and finds a skeleton on the ground, might just take in a bone in the mouth and then suck on that bone just to leach calcium out, and then later on spit out that bone, and that will get deposited into the ossicones and on the front of the skull, the back of the skull, and before you know it, a nice mature giraffe bull is going to have a very heavy skull. And therefore, if he had to have a fight and his skull is nice and heavy, he's going to give a heavy blow with that skull. So the heavier the skull, the harder the blow. And in some instances, giraffes can really injure each other. Oh, just trying to groom a little bit there. Shame, you can imagine giraffes, they can't really reach all those places where the ticks are. They try their best, but invariably stumps and trees and low bushes that can get underneath the animal, you find giraffe actually sort of go right over those bushes and they rock backwards and forwards, trying to allow the branches from the trees just to scratch and scrape off those ticks. Okay, we're going to push off. I believe Cedric has got some elephants at Chukuru Dam. Let's go take a look.
Thanks, Andrew. And finally we've got our herd of elephants that's just come down to the dam. It was a whole nice big family, maybe about 10, 15 of them. Very nice, all jolting for position and for a little gap where they can try and get in there to have some water. There's a female coming towards us. There's 2 or 3 little ones here as well. Cute little calves, as always. Gotta love them. And a nice big female coming past here. Look at the tusks, nice and thick as well for a female. Yeah, looks like those tusks have been washed and nicely cleaned somewhere. Maybe just because of the water. And coming right next to the vehicle now. One or two of them. About 15 in this herd. A very nice family. That little one trying to get next to mom. Now you can see how they just take from the top. Now you can clearly see how they just skim from the top. They don't want to go too deep with that trunk. You can actually hear them sucking that water up. Just using the trunk now, you can see that's just sniffing around. Tammy, yes, no, they are very gentle. I mean, they're huge and they're gentle giants, but just don't get one on a bad day. That's the main thing. As long as you know how to read these gentle giants, that's the main thing. Because if you misread them and you think they are friendly, and next moment the one is not acting friendly at all, well, it could be a different story. So, and I always say, give them space, let them come to you. Never go and block them. Never go and, how can I say, push the vehicle into their direction that they are heading into. It's always a good thing. Turn your vehicle off so that engine is not vibrating, it's not irritating the elephants. Turn your vehicle off and let them come towards you, because that's their decision now. They're making that choice. And when they come towards you, then it's not out of aggression. It's just out of well, we're just going to go and bypass you. Little one following mom. These big females, at least a good 4 to 4.5 tons. So being that large, well, you've got to take in quite a bit of water. I think at least maybe a good 40, 50 liters per day. A little bit windy at the moment. Sam, yes, definitely. She has been eating a lot of salad, Sam? She's been eating lots and lots of salad. A lot of lettuce and spinach. No, I'm just joking now. Of course, it's all the vegetation that they've been eating. So what they do, they use their trunk to curl it around the branches with all the green leaves, and then strip all those green leaves off. And of course, that will just leave that green tinge on their trunk. Of course, that'll kind of just brush off very soon. It won't remain there permanently. You can see that little bit of that leaf matter on it. You can see she uses the left side most of the time compared to the right. So sometimes you can even see that the calluses at the bottom of the trunk on the left hand side is a little bit more prominent than the ones on the right. So you can always see if an elephant is left-handed or right-handed. by looking at the trunk as well as their tusks. So if if the one tusk is shorter, then you know that one has been used way more. It looks like both their tusks are pretty much even. Samantha, good morning. How many muscles is in an elephant's trunk? Well, Samantha, in an elephant's trunk, it's very complex, but you can see it works like an elastic band. So that muscle is called a fibroelastic muscle, and there's they say around about 40,000 muscles in the trunk of an elephant. 40,000. And then, of course, what happens with that 40,000 muscles, they are all divided into about 140, 150,000 units, where it'll give that elasticity of the trunk. So you can extend it and contract it as well. So it's a very flexible thing on an elephant. Hey girl. Sorry, is our roof making a bit of a noise? Roof is flapping a little bit because there's a little bit of a wind that's coming through at the moment. But yeah, the trunk is very much just an extended top lip and a nose. So it's like the nose and the top lip that's pretty much fused together, and it's just extended out. And that's what creates a trunk. Looks like they have had their early morning drink. Definitely no splashing, and that's going to happen for now. I don't think it's that hot as of yet. Just standing around, no movement as for now. I think just where they're waiting for the matriarch. As soon as the matriarch, of course, that's the female that leads the family, and if she decides to go, then they will all move. So it all depends on what she wants to do. Ray J, yes, definitely, it'll be nice. It's just come sit at these waterholes. I believe in sitting at waterholes. You know, since I was a kid coming into the Kruger National Park with my family and that, we always used to sit at waterholes for hours. Take our picnic basket with some cool drinks and coffee, and then we will just sit at these waterholes for hours and just watch animals come and go, come and go. It is fantastic, and definitely at Madikwe, there's a few of these waterholes that we've been sitting around there for hours and have seen so much happening. Oh, so much happen. And Clow Dam, the other day, well actually every day Clow Dam was quite busy. But today we are sitting at Chikudu Dam, another dam, a little bit closer to the eastern side of Madikwe, the eastern fence. Trish, which dam has been my favorite? Oh, Trish, it's difficult to say, Trish. I mean, I've had the most amazing sightings at Clow Dam. I think when it comes to sightings, Clow Dam, Kolobeng Dam has been brilliant, because Kolobeng Dam we've seen cheetah there twice, and we've seen elephants, and it's been also quite remarkable. Chukuru Dam, this dam. So yeah, I think Trish is difficult to say, really say which one was the best. But I think, we'll have to really go like dig deep here. I think I'll still say Clo Dam. I think Clo Dam was still one of my best elephant sightings at flamingo, brown hyena, wild dogs. I think Clo Dam has still been just one point above the rest. Not much more. Well, as quick as these elephants have come down here for a drink, that's as quick as they are now leaving. I'm going to be heading back into the thickets and go and eat once again, as they do about 85% of their day. Bye bye. Till later on or tomorrow. Right, well, okay, let's go to Alex, as he's on the Djuma Dam Cam, and apparently he has also got a baby waterbuck.
Thanks, Cedric. And yes, back at Gowrie Dam. And what we do have is hippo and waterbuck here on screen. Got this young little waterbuck calf with its mother. And one hippo having a look at both of them. It looked like the other hippo did swim off a moment or so ago. Not too sure where it has gone. Probably out of direct sunlight. Kind of hugging this bank that's closest to us. But really quite a precious little scene here. I'll try to get a little closer into the waterbuck itself. Let's see if we can't get a nice little close-up of the calf. It is rather precious. That other hippo, rather stationary, not wanting to do too much. You can also just hear that black-headed oriole that is vocalizing in the background. So rather cool. And the wind playing ball with us right now. So that is also quite fantastic. Let's see if this little calf does perhaps try and have a little drink here. I think that is possibly what it's angling for. But really quite cute. So really quite awesome watching this little calf and its mother. You can see the calf rather boisterous at the moment. I did think it was perhaps going to have a little drink, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll also take a bit of graze now as well too. But of course, mother's milk being highly favored. And really quite cool. That light coming through, kind of highlighting that coarse, thick fur of theirs. That coat. Of course, those hairs being hollow on the inside. One of the adaptations they do have. And then, of course, they do then secrete oily substance over that coat. And that is what helps them then keep waterproof, really. Water resistance.
Are you safari savvy? How good is your animal knowledge? Animal Quizmania is back by popular demand.
How cool is this?
In aid of Earth Month for the whole month of April, we will be hosting Quizmania. Teams will pit against each other every week for some good old-fashioned interactive fun on The Sunset Show. To enter, form a team of at least 2 people. Fill out the form on our website, name your team, and come get to Wilderth.
So just enjoying a quiet little moment here, a little bit of grooming going on between mother and calf. And also just picking up bird audio that is around. So nice to hear. We also are getting a bit of the breathing of that hippo as it kind of surfaces its face out of the water. You'll hear that too. A little bit of allo grooming going on between mother and calf at the moment. So a little bit of bond cementing. No doubt they are rather close anyway. Let's just come back out a little bit. I do just want to keep tabs on our 2 hippo. Looks like one has come back now as well. So quite a cool little frame. Hopefully the warthog will oblige, or the warthog will oblige and stick with us. It looks like other plans though. So we'll just zoom back out. If they do get a bit stationary, we will zoom back in on them. So let's just wait to see what does kind of unfold. But 2 species in frame, 4 in total in terms of number. Hi Mike, it is uncommon, but it's not necessarily impossible. And generally that normally happens, at least from what I'm aware of, is when animals are kind of spooked into the water where a hippo may be. I have heard of it and seen things happening with regards to impala here and there being chased into the water. I also know of an instance where kudu got chased into the Sabi River by a pride of lions, and a hippo then took that kudu itself. And I think primarily because it's a kind of a rush into that space and they are territorial, and I think with the spook kind of a bit of bloodlust going on and that causing that adverse reaction. But it's not something they will do. Of course they are herbivores, but if you do encroach on a big animal's space like that, it's entirely impossible that death could occur. But I don't think that would be the case right now. These guys obviously both relaxed with each other. and not needing to really kind of interfere in any way with regards to anything going on between either of their lives. The hippo is basically sleeping, and of course our waterbuck grazing along the water's edge. Hi Malcolm, thank you very much for your question, and rather an in-depth one. There are a number of ants that are found in the area, but I suppose the most iconic would be the Matabele ant, big ant, of course also named after the very fearsome and well-renowned Matabele army, of course being a splinter of the Zulu nation as well. Matabele into Zimbabwe, and of course to around Vic Falls area. But the Matabele probably being the most iconic. They are big, and they also have been known to have also been used, I think, as stitches or sutures here and there, breaking off that big head. It is also very important though when you are driving around and you do kind of see this kind of procession of Matabele ants, that you do stop. You allow the last one to get across the road before you then traverse any further. And that being because if you do break that chain, they do then get lost. But definitely not something you want to get bitten by, that is for sure. It can deliver a rather intense bite. There are hippo giving us a little bit of a vocal. So the one that is the most iconic, at least to the area, for me at least, let me call it that, Matabele ants also, they do hiss. So it's quite an interesting little sound. They are aggravated. There are a number of other ants, of course, that are here. A lot of them coming down to scientific name. The scientific name and the checklist of that is available. You actually can find it if you are looking for that. I'll just double check here on something because I know I have seen it before. I do think it's on a SANParks website, and I will give you exactly what that URL is. But a number of them also being referred to in their scientific name, so quite hard to bring them all up. But as I said, actually to remember all of them also off by heart is also quite tough. But as I did say, Matabele probably being the most iconic of them. And if you do go to sandparks.org website, there is a checklist of ants for Kruger. So of course you do have certain ants that obviously go for fungi, and you have other ants that also then go for termites, the leaf carriers and the rest. But as I said, the most formidable for me, Matabele. So we are sitting here at Gowrie Dam and just enjoying the presence of this waterbuck and its calf at the moment. Kind of taking a bit of shelter in this little bit of riverine kind of thicket in front of the water at the moment. Of course, the water level is still rather high from all our rain. And we did just get a little snort from the two hippos that are here. So Dewey and a younger hippo are around. It looks like these two, Carl at least, focusing on stocking up some of this vegetation around the water's edge. So quite cool, nice to see. It does seem that they are rather relaxed. Not too much of a breeze to speak about at the moment either. Rather awesome scenes. Emerald spotted wood dove coiling in the background too. Sounds like a water thickney as well around. It sounds like some bees as well. And black-crowned chagra too. So it seems that that's mother and calf kind of taking one of the game trails away on the right hand side, russet bush willow. It looks like we are going to lose visual of them momentarily. I think they are going to head towards the thicket, probably getting a bit warm. Probably best to stay out of sight. So looks like that'll probably be the end of them for the moment. So kind of just getting behind that russet bush willow that we can see on that side. Just the legs now at the moment. So that was an awesome sighting with the waterbuck, cow and calf, and it is time for us to shoot back over to Andrew, who's caught up with the three amigos, and check in with them.
Alex, well done with your beautiful waterbuck sighting. And talking about a beautiful sighting, look what we've got here. We have a ball of amigos. They are busy huddling as close as they possibly can together here, trying to just share each other's body heat. Shame, these guys are really, really sleepy at the moment. Oh, there's a bit of a stretch. You might even be able to see the claws there. It's interesting that sometimes I've used the word nails in the past, and I've just realized that the animals have got claws. That's the more correct term for it. Animals have got claws. And now cheetah's claws are very well formed, and they need to be. Remember, these animals run very quick, and if they don't have some sort of a grip and running spikes, they're going to catch troubles when they're running at full speed, especially when they tilt and they turn to one direction. You might find that they'll slip and fall, and then whatever they're chasing is gone. Those claws really do dig into the ground and allow the animal to stay attached to the surface of the ground. Just looking at them, again, their stomach is looking really good at the moment. They're in really good condition. And I remember when these 3 male cheetah first arrived on Amakhala Game Reserve, there was a point in time where they were battling a little bit. And we saw them in quite a thin state. Not emaciated, but very thin. And they were getting towards a point where we were really worried about them. But since then, I mean, we've never seen them again like that. We have just seen them in tip-top condition time and time again. Hello, Mac. I know, hey, it's very tempting. Man, I mean, over the years, me being in the bush, you know, sometimes you see animals all cuddled up nicely. That it's almost very inviting to just go up to them and just want to cuddle up to them. But they wouldn't like that very much. And I think most wildlife, if not all the wildlife, they have a deep, deep fear for human beings, and we know why. Humans have began hunting animals from a very, very young or early point in time, and over the years the animals have sort of adapted to becoming very fearful of people, associating people with problems and potential hunting and things like that. But at the end of the day, a human being is only really strong with a rifle in the hand. Other than that, I mean, we are very weak, very, very weak and very out of place in the ecosystem. They've actually chosen quite a nice little spot here. They've got a bit of cover from the bush here, but I see the wind is coming from the other angle over there. But they don't look cold. Of course, they are huddling, but they're not showing that they are uncomfortable or they want to move into a thicker part of the bush. They are totally happy there, so much so that they're fast asleep. It's quite clever that the one cheetah there in the middle is using his brother as a pillow. So remember, it's quite important that cheetahs do keep their heads up for as long as they can. And of course, they do get tired. They will lay their head flat on the ground, but they prefer to have the head up. And so the one cheetah is actually using the other cheetah as a bit of a pillow, just to keep the head elevated and up. Okay, while you're watching these beautiful 3 cheetahs, I just want to mention that we are looking for some user-generated content, and I'm pretty sure most of you by now know what we mean by that. But if you do have any videos of really cool sightings, please, we would love to add that to the Wild Earth platforms. And if you'd like to know a bit more on that, just go onto the website and then click on the content creator. And through that, you'll get a bit more information. And if you'd like some of your videos to be added to our platform, it'll definitely be your way of doing it. Really looking forward to seeing what sort of videos come through. See this cheetah in the far front that's looking away from us at the moment? You notice that big spot on the chest there? That's going to be very unique opposed to the other individuals, but they're not difficult to identify. We know how to identify the two brothers and then the one non-brother, but there is going to be unique spotting on each individual. You just need to know where to look. A chest is a very good place. Also parts of the hind legs, the forehead, the cheeks, and so on. It's the first time I'm noticing that very large spot. It's almost like someone had a black ink, you know, when you take fingerprints and you put your fingerprint on a piece of paper. It almost looks like a thumb mark. Jermaine, if I get the name correctly. It was. Okay. Morning, Jermaine. Good to hear from you. Not very long, actually. Cheetahs in the wild, if they're lucky, between 8 and 10 years old. That's it, eh? That is it. So I think house cats, you know, domesticated cats that you have at home, some of them can live very, very long. But in the wild, cats in general are going to live much, much shorter lifespans, between 8 and 10 years old, and that's it. And that's why it's important that cheetahs reach a mature state as soon as they can in life, early on in their life, so that they can fulfill their role in nature, which is to reproduce, to breed. Very seldomly in a game reserve will cheetahs die of old age. That's the sad truth. Usually they get killed by something. And lions is one of the major ones. And as you all know, and I've mentioned quite a few times, that Amakhala as a game reserve is linked to the Wildlife Endangered Species Trust, a cheetah safe space. And the whole idea is that cheetahs from other parts of Africa, perhaps, come here to Amakhala and breed with individuals that are already on Amakhala. And those individuals will need to, perhaps be taken out and put into areas where cheetahs have since been extinct or are extremely low numbers. Because the Endangered Species Trust is very interested in maintaining the genetic integrity of cheetahs. It's very, very important. Now, I believe Cedric has found some vultures. So let's head off to Madikwe Game Reserve.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Yes, we are here with a white-backed vulture. And there is a kill here, so this is exactly where we wanted to come and take a look, because apparently there was a female lion that was around here, but I don't see her. But I just see there was quite a few vultures here, but they all took off now. And it's just, this one's also going. Beautiful vulture, look at that. You can see the other vultures now just flying around there, so about the pole. But yeah, you can see the white back at the back on the hind end now, or the back of it. So hence the name white-backed vulture. So they were busy feeding on this carcass. And there's another one. I think it looks like they've all taken off now. But finding them around the kill, that gives me a quick first sign that that lioness is not here. Because lions will not allow vultures to feed on their kill, while they are around the area. So I think she might have moved off. Maybe she went off to have a drink somewhere. I'm not too sure. I will still try and follow up on that. But now you can see these vultures all catching the thermals. And how quickly do they catch those thermals? Yeah, they pick up on that so quickly. So what they'll do, catch those heat thermals, going up in circles, and then try and get to great heights again, and then try and push off. Or maybe they might come back here again for this carcass. We'll just hang back a little bit here for now. I've just seen white-backed vultures. I didn't see any other vulture around this side, just the white-backed vultures so far. I know that you do get the Cape vulture in the area. I think they'll just catch those thermals, head up high, and then maybe come down and roost in these dead trees if the lion's back again. If not, they will come back straight to this carcass and continue feeding on it. Especially the vultures going up like that. So if there is any other predators around and they saw these vultures now take off from where this carcass is, very quickly those predators will actually start making their way maybe into this area just to come and investigate on what's here and what's dead. But also very important for these vultures to be in these areas, like hyenas, like the jackals, because if there is a carcass lying around, that they do clean up, they do feed on the carcass, and then they'll clean up, and then they will not leave anything remaining behind here. Tim, about 15,000 feet, so halfway to a Boeing aeroplane. So 15,000 feet is very high. They're like little black dots in the sky when they're so high. You can't even see them, but they've got fantastic eyesight. So when they're right up there so high, they can look down, they can see if there's a carcass lying around somewhere. So they've got fantastic eyesight. But you can understand why vultures have to keep their feathers always well maintained, because if they don't, then, you know, if you're going that high, it could be a problem for them. But keeping their feathers always well maintained, well, it helps them just to kind of make it a little bit easier getting to those heights. That's why you always find vultures sitting on dead trees. They'll never go into the canopies and mess up their feathers at all. Maybe they'll come back. I don't know where this line is. I'm trying to think where is going to be the closest waterhole from where we are now. So I'm feeling maybe she decided to go for a drink. But you'll see there is a wildebeest that is just lying there. Mostly eaten up. That's about a half of it. There's still pretty much the front quarters, the neck, the head. So there's still a lot of meat left. So I don't think she would have just left it and moved off. But you can see how the vultures, even the pied crows, they were also young, so they're busy feeding. You can see on the eyes, remove the eyes, remove that whole eye socket, and it's just definitely being fed on by many a predator at the moment.
On April 27th, Wild Earth will be celebrating a very special birthday. It's our Sweet 16. We want to celebrate you, our viewers who have been with us every step of the way.
I just appreciate you so much.
Send in your birthday wishes so we can include you in the celebrations.
Happy birthday, Wild Earth!
Video yourself saying happy birthday to Wild Earth with a short note and share them with us on birthday@wild.
I'm just gonna take a look down this side. Okay, let's just move around a bit here because there's not much else here but just the carcass. So what will happen to the smell around the carcass? Well, the carcass is smelling terrible. What will happen to it? It'll just be floating around here in the air and just coming under our nostrils and getting into our nostrils and that. But yeah, I'm just taking a look if I can. Maybe this line might be around here somewhere. But it's. I don't believe, because I know for sure that, you know, usually lions, if they're lying down and there's something feeding on their kill, they'll get up and chase those vultures away. They always do that. So I don't think she's, yeah, that's what I'm trying to look around under these bushes here, but I don't think she'll be here. I'm hoping that we can get an opportunity to go to the water holes and see if we can take a look around there. It's not that hot yet, so I don't see any tracks here. No. Alright, let's move a little bit. I want to take a look down that side. Okay, let's go. There's another road. I want to try and take a look just to see if she hasn't moved further south towards the airstrip side. Oh. But yeah, no, look, and I think one thing about this smell might bring hyenas late on tonight. Maybe tonight, but that's if the lion doesn't come back now. But yeah, while we're going to continue searching, let's head over to Amakhala with old Andrew to see what's happening with those 3 male cheetahs.
Thank you, Cedric. Not much actually is happening with these cheetah at the moment. They are still lying down. I don't see them moving for quite some time today, unless they do get thirsty and the water is not too far from us. And if they do start getting up and start moving to the water, we will definitely follow them, because where they usually drink, it is nice and open, and it's very nice to actually watch the cheetah drinking at that watering hole. So hopefully we just see what happens. Oh, shame. They are just beautiful, aren't they? Look at that tail. Tail's always wide awake, eh? Especially with that one individual. Really likes to flicker it about. Likes to show off that beautiful tail. Okay, so we actually just got a message from Malcolm, and Malcolm said that he went to East Africa and experienced the cheetah out there, actually jumping on the game viewer and sitting probably on the roof. I've actually seen photographs of that, and I think that's incredible. But yeah, absolutely, the cheetahs out there in East Africa. Now remember, the vehicles out in East Africa are a lot different to the vehicles we use out here. And because in East Africa, sometimes I'll go out for the whole day on safari with a guide, they do have closed vehicles with a sunroof. So Malcolm, I hope that's sort of the vehicle that you had, that I'm describing. Just let us know on that. But apparently the cheetah jumped on top of the roof where the sunroof was. And I have seen videos and photographs of that. And the reason why the cheetahs do that out there is they've learned to use the vehicles as a bit of a higher ground. And when they do see prey in the distance, sometimes they would like to take a little bit of a better look. And so they jump on top of the roof of the vehicle, and sometimes even fall asleep on the roof, from what I've seen in the videos. I used to know a guide out there in East Africa, and he said it's wonderful the first time and second time that they do it. But he says there's a problem that comes in when the cheetahs do that, because sometimes they fall asleep on the roof. And then you can't drive off and you can't move anywhere, and you're going to need to wait for those cheetah to wake up on their own accord and then jump down and go and do their own thing before they can actually drive away. So he said, yeah, the first few times he did it was incredible, but after a while you tend to not really want them to do it. Now I'm sure some of you heard that these very three amigos did something like that over here, where they jumped on one of the bonnets of the hoods rather of the vehicles, and also used the vehicle as a bit of a vantage. So it's interesting that they haven't done that since, and there was only a once-off occasion when they did do that. But we don't want that to happen out here, because we're using much different vehicles, and it's semi-open, the vehicle. There's no sides. There is a roof, but no sides and no windscreen. Well, we do have a windscreen, but we fold it down. And the conservation here in Amakhala Game Reserve has really asked all the guides out here not to allow that to happen. If they do come towards a vehicle, just reverse, make space. Hence the reason why we're at 15 meters from these cheetah, and we're just keeping a bit of distance just in case they do decide that they want to do that to us. But yeah, I think what an incredible experience, especially in East Africa, because they're actually well known. Especially this one female that does it out there, and I believe she's passing that on to her young and offspring that she's had over the years, and and they are tending to do it as well. I'm not sure if some of you might have seen when I had the three amigos about 2 months ago, and they walked towards my vehicle, and it looked like they were going to do it to me as well. But that's why I keep a stick in the vehicle, not to hit the cheetah, I would never do that, but just to point it at them, just say, don't do that, please don't do that, let's respect each other. And since then, they've not tried it again. So as a reserve at Amakhala, we are very happy about that they haven't tried to do it again here. Shame, it's one cheetah. He's getting a little bit uncomfortable there. His buddy's using him as a pillow. Okay, now I want to tell you an experience that I had a good few years ago in the Timbavati, where an animal actually made contact with my vehicle. And so what happened was, we were actually driving, we did a normal afternoon safari with the guests, and we were so far away from the camp, and it was already nighttime coming down, and things were getting very black, that all these nocturnal animals were starting to come out. And then while we were driving, we actually noticed that there was an African wildcat. And we thought, wow, this is a great sighting. Let's switch off the vehicle and have a look. And so we watched the African wildcat, and the African wildcat was on the side of a road, and there was a lot of thick vegetation on the side of the road as well. And then I noticed, dead straight ahead, much like you're seeing these cheetahs here, I noticed a scrub hare coming down the road. African wildcat saw the scrub hare and got into its little stalking position and waited and waited and waited until the scrub hare had come all the way down and was essentially 90 degrees to the African wildcat. And as this little scrub hare ran past where the African wildcat was, the African wildcat made a launch. Then the scrub hare suddenly realized, oh, what's going on, and decided to run. But now in a situation where, you know, one of its predators is now making a move, the scrub hare launched off, and it didn't really have time to see where it was running. And this poor little scrub hare actually ran into my tire, and all the dust was kicked up, and the scrub hare managed to dart off and get away, but it was incredibly close. That African wildcat actually used our vehicle, the tire of the vehicle, to chase this little young scrub hare onto us. And that's the only time in my entire career that an animal has actually made contact with my vehicle. Interesting, something I'll never forget. Just wondering if this cheetah that's in the far front side of us here maybe wants to get up and maybe move a little bit. I'm not sure what it's thinking of doing, but the ears are cocked back. It's, of course, listening to the sounds behind. But at some point, I'm sure these cheetah will get up and change their positions. Okay, there's a bird busy alarm calling somewhere by these cheetah. I'm not quite sure what bird it is. I'm just going to watch and listen. Ah, it has stopped now. And so it's that time, it is top of the hour. Just like to reintroduce everybody. My name is Andrew and I still have Paul behind the camera. We are out in Amakhala Game Reserve and so far we've had the three amigos. We've had a nice giraffe bull that was lying down to begin with and then a nice group of the black wildebeest. As well as Cedric, who has had some waterbuck and a calf, and then a nice big group of elephants, which is quite nice. And then Alex, who's out in the Djuma Dam Cams, has also had a waterbuck calf. But remember, if you have any questions at any time, we would like to hear from you. So please do feel free to send in all your questions and comments and suggestions. Looking forward to seeing and hearing your questions. Nice one. What are you planning on doing, you amigos? I hope you do decide to stay there, but if you are feeling cold and you want to go into the bush and be a bit more warmer, of course you are welcome to do so. Heidi, oh, thank you for that update. I really appreciate that. If I get that correctly, you're saying that the guides in East Africa have been asked not to allow the cheetahs to climb on the vehicles. Well, that's good. That's interesting. Thank you for the update. I thought it was still potentially happening. There's actually a famous photograph which was advertising Land Rover. And what Land Rover did was they took a game viewer, brand spanking new game viewer, and they got a photograph of the cheetah on the bonnet, that one that we're talking about in East Africa, and a photo was taken, and that was for their advertising. I think that was a really, really amazing photograph. But yeah, the best is not to allow animals to associate, vehicles and things that they can use to their advantage. You want to sort of just keep things natural, which is always a good idea. Of course, it'll be an amazing experience for the tourists that go there, but ultimately, you don't really want that to happen. Thanks, Heidi. Oh, we've got some rolling over here. Oh, that one's laying almost on its back there with paws in the air, like he just don't care. Oh, look at that face. How beautiful is that? Very broad face. doesn't it? Oh, it's a shame. The one brother is pushing his other's brother's face there on the chin there. Oh, getting a little bit uncomfortable, I see. So we're actually not too far from a boundary. Malcolm, thank you, Malcolm. Malcolm, I'm going to have to 100% agree with you. I think if an animal had to claw me, I would rather face a cheetah clawing me than a lion or a leopard. The sharpness of leopard and lion claws is tremendously sharp. And not only do you have to watch out for a bite, but you have to watch out for the claws. Now, I have seen lions go after things from time to time, and I mean, as soon as they make contact with their prey, you must see this lacerations that immediately follow. It's leopard and lion claws are tremendously sharp. Yep, cheetahs are a lot more blunter, so they are more relying on bite rather than clawing and holding on to prey, more than a bite action. Whereas leopard and lion, they're going to cause a lot of their damage with their claws as well as their mouth and their teeth. Now the thing about cats' claws is infection is very high after an animal has been clawed, so potentially they can get infected. And I'm not sure if some of you have got some pet cats at home, hopefully not a lion or a leopard, but if you have a house cat, and you know, sometimes when you play with your house cat and the house cat claws you, and then you go to the kitchen to make yourself a nice cup of tea and you feel your hand is tingling and itchy, and that's just from play fighting, and their claws can cause some real bad infections. So I was just mentioning earlier that we are not too far from a boundary at the moment. And I know I've mentioned that the cheetahs are using the boundary as a way of netting their prey. But also the prey, for some reason, they feel sometimes a bit more secure on boundaries. And the theory is that the prey that are walking along boundaries may feel that they only need to focus on one side. They don't need to worry about the other side because there's a boundary. But this puts them in a very compromising situation, actually. I think in most reserves that I've worked at where there has been a boundary present, that the predators learn and they use that. Okay, so Cedric has got a beautiful lone buffalo bull. So let's head on to Madikwe Salong.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, we did have a buffalo, and he's gone. So that buffalo, I don't think he's going to pop out anywhere else. A lonely male. As you can see, we are at a nice clearing, but nothing else. Oh, we've got a little bee eater. That is nice. I know Ben had a little bee eaters as well this morning. So definitely one of the bee eaters that does not migrate, so they will stay year long around here in these areas, as well as in the eastern side of South Africa. Oh, thanks, Max. Max said he saw a little bee eater in his yard yesterday in the northwest, pretty much where we are. We're in the northwest. So nice, Max. It is. They are very cute, but they are very quick. So it's nice just to see one sitting so still for us to actually enjoy this moment while it's busy preening itself nicely. But how's those colors? That yellow is so stunning under the chin, and that beautiful little green head. And why they call it a little bee eater? Because it is the smallest of the bee eaters. It's little. I was looking for all little insects, moths, bees, wasps, anything like that. Oh. Sometimes they come back to the same perch, but he has disappeared. Just looking around here. As our buffalo has disappeared because it was just a single buffalo. What else we got around this side here? We're quite far on the eastern boundary of Madikwe at the moment. As I said, I'm still trying to search for those lions. So far, no luck. And any other little birds around here? No, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's all very quiet. Well, we've got a fork-tailed drongo that's just perched on top of another dead tree. A fork-tailed drongo. Always nice seeing them around. Always following animals. Well, animals are, when they do disturb the grass and little insects come fluttering out, you'll find these little fork-tailed drongos grabbing those insects. And you can see why it's called the fork-tailed drongo. It's got that typical little fork in the tail. It's always some people get it misidentified with a black flycatcher.
Thank you, Wild Earth, for this absolutely fantastic prize at Mataya Safari Lodge at Madikwe in South Africa. I joined the Wild Earth Explorer program at its onset in 2019 and have absolutely loved every minute I have experienced in the bush with all the characters of Wild Earth, both human and hairy. Thank you again, Wild Earth.
Sign up today and you could be the one experiencing it for yourself.
going on, of course, these parrots, one of 26 species we do get across the genera of parrots in Africa. So that obviously then including things like parakeets and lovebirds as well. So really quite cool. Lovely to be able to see. And if you didn't know, in the world where the majority of different parrot species are found are across in Australasia and South America, and there are roughly 390 species, mostly tropical or subtropical. So just experiencing one or two issues there. You are with myself though, Alex, here in Okaukuejo. Nice to check in here in Etosha. This morning, you'll be able to hear a number of the springbok kind of, that little guttural kind of noise. And they'll chat to each other. Some nice cloud cover slowly starting to build. Some cool cumulus clouds. A nice little vista. Lots of springbok action. And quite a cool silhouette that's on the surface of the waterhole at the moment, just due to those clouds being around, and of course also not too much wind. Looks like a lone wildebeest. That's a zebra coming down to us. Just need to wait and see. But we've had quite a bit of springbok action here throughout the course of the day. I did notice one or two others, but really just pleasant scenes at the moment. Not too much going on in terms of bird vocals. And it is possibly that time of the day that the Abem storks will come through as well. So how many? Not too sure. It does remain to be seen. We'll have to wait and see about that. And of course, we are waiting to hopefully see some of the other species of mammals that do come through. Of course, also pick up on some of the other awesome audio we do get here with regards to the birds. So we'll just have to wait and see what goes on. But here's one of those wildebeest coming through to the water. And as I said, just really quite awesome to be able to sit back here. Very quiet at the moment. Lots going on and a cool silhouette that is basically on display for us. So almost like an artwork. Really quite cool. Getting the first audio of those Cape Crows. So just picking up some of those Cape Crows. Awesome to hear them. Of course, they are ever present, or they have been of late, and they do make quite some noise too. So the wind slowly starting to pick up, and it is kind of disturbing the surface of the waterhole at the moment. We are losing that quite awesome little silhouette that is there. Try get a little bit closer. Unfortunately, not going to be able to go too much more than this for now. So that kind of little snort that's going on there. I think the GNU, well, they obviously do have that typical GNU sound that they do make. This being one of the brindled GNUs, different to those that migrate like in East Africa and even in Zambia. Those being white-bearded, both being East and Western race as well. And there is also a type of wildebeest across, I think, Kafue area in Zambia too. Hi Malcolm, thanks very much for your question. Wanting to know if I've ever eaten termites. I do know people that have. I do have some stories as well around those too. I won't lie, I'm yet to eat them. I do, and I have heard of them tasting like peanut butter. I can confirm that when I have had braais in the past and the alites have come out, and they've kind of gotten into a weeber before, and it does smell like you're cooking or braaiing prawns because of those exoskeletons. But I've yet to try them roasted or raw. When I was young, I did consume the odd ant, and were rather peppery, and I have eaten grasshoppers and the odd other insect across in Asia in some travels, but not to eat, or yet to eat a termite as of yet, Malcolm. That's something I'm going to have to try at some point. But yeah, I have been told that they do taste like peanut butter, and I can confirm that if they are roasted, they do smell very similar to prawns because of those exoskeletons. And that's in particular in the rainy season when the alates do kind of come out from the ground, obviously start that next cycle. So little queens trying to get out and then obviously start new colonies and the rest. And you really can almost be swarmed by them. That particular evening I literally was, and I didn't really know really what to do after being inundated by them. Of course, they are harmless. And I've seen a number of birds of prey actually going for them after rain as well. So things like Eurasian hobby, battaliers, little lesser spotted eagles, even tawny eagles as well. And the birds really do go wild for them. So it is quite interesting. But no, yet to eat a termite. But, probably something I should look at some point. But clearly a bit late in the season right now to get onto that. So there is an emerald spotted wood dove. It is calling at the moment. We've got a wading springbok in the waterhole for now. And of course it does look like some awesome clouds. So hopefully there'll be some last rains. Kind of getting to the end of the rainy season here in Etosha. It's probably, 2 days at best of supposed rainy season. Although, of course, it can obviously occur probably a bit more sporadic after the end of this month. So, rather relaxing scenes. The wind kind of dying down here a bit, but it is time for us to head across back to Cedric and see what's going on in Madikwe.
Well, thanks. Got some impalas. It's just walking across the road. Nice little herd this side. A few females, a nice breeding herd. As you know, the males are going into the rutting season now, so it's nice to see those bachelor herds where the males are busy competing for these females. And competing for a nice harem in the area. Oh, these flies. But also you can see at the bottom of the impala's back legs, right at the bottom, you can see those little black tufts. So it's one of the only antelopes that's got a gland there called a metatarsal gland. So of course that gland is a gland that's pretty much lets off a certain scent, like a pheromone, and it actually gives the status of that individual. As well as if they are fleeing from a predator, you'll find that many times they will know exactly which direction to go due to the communication through that gland. So the metatarsal gland. Nice little kind of a black tuft to it. Definitely also one of our most common antelopes here in Madikwe. John, do we find springbucks in these bush areas? John, no, not in those bushy areas. Maybe like more the open clearings, the semi-arid areas. But I think a little bit further west in Madikwe, you've got those big clearings. That's where you'll find your springbucks. I haven't seen any springbuck in this vicinity. The only one we saw is that one male that we get to see when we go onto that big open plains. We get to see that lonely male that side. But other than that, we haven't seen those herds at all. Yeah, I think, as I say, further west, northwest of Madikwe, you'll get more springbucks that side. Much clearer that side, bigger plains. So it's perfect area, perfect habitat for the springbucks. But you never know, maybe you get one coming through here, just by chance. Always say with as well with cheetahs. So you think cheetahs are always on those big open clearings, and that yes they are, but you know when they're moving from open clearing to open clearing, they have to go through some thick vegetation to get to the other open clearing. So sometimes you'll see them passing by. This is, I don't know, I just see a little bird here on the side. I'm hoping it doesn't fly away. Please don't fly away. You know how it goes. Every time we get to it, it's going to fly. Oh, just... The roof is just there. What's here? There's a white-browed sparrow weaver. White-browed sparrow weaver. You can see, and he's got his little nest here on the side as well. So unfortunately the roof is in a little bit of a bad position here. I'm just going to see if it does come back. White-browed sparrow weaver. It's the first time I've seen this bird. That is awesome. So you usually find it in northern parts of South Africa, northwest, and of course the central areas of South Africa. So it's a common resident to all in the acacia savannas and the dry woodlands. And so their nests are untidy, like untidy bundles. So yeah, that's it. Nice, white-browed sparrow weaver. Very nice to see this. And he's got like a little mohawk, like a little black streak that goes through it. So I said, dude, it's fortunate the roof is a little bit low here. Maybe I'll try and get it in the corner there. Look at that little mohawk. Maybe getting like little leaves, like green leaves. Maybe he wants to go and pop them inside of that nest. Well, that's a lifer for me today. I haven't seen a white-browed sparrow weaver in my life. Yeah, it's just decided to take off. Alright, well that was a nice one. Well, he's left his nest behind, of course. I wonder if he's still going to be building on this untidy nest of it. So yeah, just as I was saying, it is a very untidy bundle of like grass and little twigs, but mainly grass. So yes, definitely not as neat as your masked weavers nests and your red-headed weaver. They've got those beautiful little shapes, but if you look at a red-billed buffalo weaver, I mean a red-billed buffalo weaver's nest is also very untidy. It's like, you know, branches and twigs sticking out everywhere. So yes, this is just like more of the smaller version of a buffalo weaver's nest, because they don't stay in communities like the buffalo weavers. Definitely always they start off a certain design, and what's lovely, I love how the masked weavers, they always start with it like that ring, and then from the like a little ring that they create, like almost like an anchor, like a foundation, and then they'll start just kind of weaving that grass through, or the reed bits through each other, and making almost like a little basket, and a little round basket, and all closed up with one little entrance to it. But yeah, definitely this one is all over the show. Well, so, as you know, back every Wednesday from the 12th of April, we're going to have, of course, the Quizmania for the schools, and make sure that all the teachers do register their schools in at wildearth.tv and go on to the kids button. So that is from the 12th of April. Schools will be back every Wednesday. That's going to be quite nice. Nice to do. It's always good to do all this Wild Earth Kids shows, because it's nice just teaching the younger generation about our wildlife, as well as enjoy those questions that do come through, especially the kids' questions. Always interesting and straight to the point. Alright. Let's see. There is nothing else this side. I think we are just going to move on and just going to go down this road just a little bit. We are going to head west now. I'm going to try and get to a little pan or dam to see what's going to be coming around there, because it is heating up here at Madikwe at the moment. It is getting nice and warm, so it's perfect. Let's go. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, that whole thing is with the lions now as well. I think because it's heating up, you know, I'm sure they've taken cover. They're in the shade somewhere, and it is going to be a little bit tricky finding them. But as I say, I want to just go down to the dams or the pans. That's where we might get some action with some elephants and buffalo. I'm going to go slowly down this side. Oh, we've got some nice impala. Let's take a look at some impala. Some more impala here. You always will bump into impala, no matter where. Jacob, yes, I'm sure the snakes will be active. It's nice and warm. Coming to heat up their bodies so they can get more mobility in their little ways of hunting. So yes, definitely. But it is coming to that time of the year as well, where snakes, of course, starting to, you know, hide and almost like hibernate, but you know, they're not becoming as active as in summertime. You'll find that a snake that's more active now when it's starting to cool down like this is your puff adders, your pythons, because they don't really use a lot of energy compared to like your mambas, your cobras, where of course they go out hunting. Your puff adder will just lie on a pathway and wait, so it doesn't use that amount of energy at all. And you can see that nice black M on the bum. A lot of guys always say it's McDonald's of the bush, but clearly it is a very important aspect to the impala. It's just to attract all those parasites, because parasites do end up going towards the back end there, towards the darker areas. Oh, a little bit of males chasing female. Oh, it's getting to that time of the year. And yeah, so of course all the parasites will get attracted to the hind end, to that dark area, and then it's easy for these impalas just to groom themselves, just to kind of take all those parasites off. And that's why you always see their coats are kept, you know, well maintained and always so shiny. Alan, yeah, the rutting season, yeah, it's starting now. So you'll find it's usually April, going closer to May as well, but usually April time, that's the males are chasing one another around. Of course, trying to chase them out of the areas. Of course, the males as well trying to claim harems, and a harem is, of course, a lot of females with one male. And once that male becomes the dominant one of the bachelor herd, or for that area, then of course he will try and proclaim a harem. And not all the time that he'll stick with that harem and stay the dominant male. You'll find sometimes during the rutting time he's too busy chasing the males away, other males. He's too busy, of course, keeping females in the harem itself, and because he's doing that, he's really forgetting to feed, and he starts losing body condition. And once he starts losing body condition, then the males that's in the bachelor herds that's busy feeding and getting stronger, they'll usually compete and get one that's really more dominant than the others, and then he'll try and push the male that's got the harem out to, of course, claim the harem for himself. So it's quite a cycle all the time, until the male that chooses just the right moment when those females go into heat. And that male that's there at the right time, of course, then will be able to mate with the females.
Wild Earth's mission is an expensive one, but we know that our live experience is important to so many people that cannot afford to pay for it. We have added a donate button to our website. By donating, you are directly helping us share our free nature experiences with the world. We want Wild Earth to reach children, budding conservationists, and the less fortunate. A little money goes a long way. You can make a difference to someone today.
These impalas now slowly heading down the road, still just feeding around here, little forbs and grasses, some of the leaves on these sweet thorn trees or bushes. And definitely a lot of the animals around here look in great condition. Definitely the food is quite abundant around here for them. And you can just see, and I know the sweet thorn is very palatable, so you'll find a lot of the animals actually a lot of the herbivores or the browsers will be feeding on this sweet thorn. Even I've seen buffalo before as well. So there's, especially in winter time when the grass is not dead, they'll tend to try and just feed on some of the sweet thorn leaves. Very palatable. Wesley, no, I don't think it's common for them for impalas to rut outside the rutting season. Wesley, I think rutting happens, of course, April, May, and especially that now once the females go into heat as well. So then you'll find that rutting becomes way more intense. But when on the outside of rutting season, it'll be more kind of chasing each other around, and not rutting, but more kind of trying to keep the area, keep their harems, things like that. But no, I haven't seen the rutting really happening intensely outside of the season itself. But I'm sure it does happen. I'm sure it can happen. We actually, funny enough, 2 days ago, we found a very small impala, like an impala lamb. It was maybe 3-4 days old. And I mean, that is completely out of the time when females drop their lambs, and that's usually end of November, December, or beginning of November to December time. And so it just shows you that female must have went into heat very late, and she only dropped her lamb now, which is not a good thing, because now you can imagine that poor impala lamb is going to be the weakest in that herd, because it's going to be the slowest. And for predators to single out those things, it always happens. So being a little one at this time, not a good thing. The chances of survival is way, way less. And that's the whole idea of the impalas giving birth pretty much almost together at the same time, like in a week period. Because the more lambs you've got together, the better chance of survival for those little ones. You've got 20 little ones, and then you've got, and all of a sudden a predator takes one down. At least there's still 19 that's surviving. But if you've got one little one, youngster, and all of a sudden it's going to be picked out very quickly. There's some bee eaters. Actually, there's blue check bee eaters around here. I can't see them. I hear them. Almost sound like the European bee eaters. And it was so nice to see the little bee eater this morning. Lenny, you say you enjoy the springbuck out of all the antelopes because of the beautiful markings. Definitely, Lenny, I fully agree. I think it's stunning with that white belly and that white face, and they've got that black stripe that's running down on the side of its face. So yes, Lenny, I think a springbuck is definitely one of the more beautiful antelopes that we do have. We don't. I know that we do get gemsbok here apparently, but on the western side, I've seen a gemsbok once or twice. I know that on Okakuyo Dam Camp we get to see them quite often. But gemsboks are so beautiful. I think they're stunning. Those straight horns are just amazing. And my all-time favorite and it'll still be my all-time favorite, will be a Nyala. I love the Nyala. It's just that, especially the male, especially when they've got that philo erectus. So philo erectus is when they've kind of push up those hairs on the spine, those white hairs, and it stands upright. So that's when when two males are busy strutting next to each other and competing with each other, not fighting, but just kind of showing who's bigger. And of course, that male is standing straight up. Their tails are fanned out, and they are so beautiful. That real kind of dark chocolate color. Beautiful white lines running down their flanks, and of course those interesting socks that they've got on. So yes, I love the male Nyala. And I always used to tell guests with the Nyala, I was like, Nyala, how do you say that? And it's like, no, just remember, it's easy to spell. If you're American, it's easy. It's New York and Los Angeles. So it's Nyala. New York and Los Angeles. That's Nyala. Like, okay. It's an easy way to remember. And it actually means onion. Nyala means onion. And it's got those layers because of those stripes. But I'm hoping that we get to see our lonely male springbuck again on that one clearing that we have been seeing him hanging around those wildebeest. But we'll maybe try again tomorrow morning. Head to those big open clearings. It's a little bit far from here, a little bit far west. As Madikwe is quite a huge reserve. Ha! Heidi, so you're exactly with me there. An oryx because of their beautiful horns. Definitely, Heidi. Those horns are magnificent. And the male and the female's got those horns as well. Definitely, that I don't want to have a fight with an oryx. They're straight and they're very sharp. Even the face, even the oryx face is also beautiful. It's got that white face with those beautiful black stripes as well running through its face. So, definitely all around the oryx is a stunning animal. Free spirit, yes, Nyala and waterbuck, but I agree also you love all of them. Oh yeah, they've all got their beauty. Each one of them has got a beauty about them. That's why it's difficult to really say, oh, this is way better and way more beautiful. No, each one's got its beauty. Even the impalas. I mean, how many times do we say at the end of November or during November when there's those impala lambs that's all together in a little nursery? And we all go, oh, that's so sweet. Look how beautiful is that. So, yeah, all the animals are beautiful. It's difficult to really kind of single out them. Even these springbucks, I mean, these impalas, like just like the springbucks, they can also hop as well. Like they could go right over the road. They can like jump right over the road. Not a problem. Sorry, Nadine. Go with Darcy Miller's. Sorry, I came through very distorted into my ear there. Darcy Miller, Nyala males, those are your favorite. Definitely, I think the male Nyala is one of the best. One of the best, but I'm not going to single them out there. They're all beautiful. But the male Nyala is. I was working at a lodge before I started at Wild Earth. I was working at a lodge in the western sector of the Sabi Sands. And inside of the lodge itself, we used to always have Nyalas that were roaming between the rooms, which was fantastic. So, of course, when the guests did come to the lodge, first time in Africa, first time on safari, and all of a sudden they are walking between these amazing antelopes, and used to be so beautiful. And they were so relaxed. Those Nyalas were so relaxed, and just like the bushbuck, Nyala and bushbuck seem to enjoy being inside of the lodges. They feel that they're safe, they're comfortable, and there's a lot of greenery around there as well. Always thick inside of lodges. So yeah. Well, most things have disappeared now. I don't know, we'll have to maybe head towards, I'm trying to think, maybe one of the quarries that's not too far from here. I'm going to take a look there maybe, because there is water. So might be a good thing. Alright, well, it looks like those impalas have also decided to start moving off. So what we're going to do, we're going to go a little bit further down the road and take a look. I know there is a quarry further on. And see if we can pick up on something coming down to heaven and for a drink that side. Where's those elephants when you need them? Where are they? As I say, it is getting a little bit warmer now, so it's nice. It's perfect time just to go down to those quarries and to the pans and dams now, just to go and see if anything has gone down that side for a drink. And day is definitely turning up. Perfect. Perfect. Impalas running across there. Oh, God. Impalas just ran across the road there. I don't know, it looks like I got chased by a male there. Gone. No, don't go away. Impalas are heading out that side. Alright, looks like they're definitely heading away now, from out of sight. All those impalas. Alright, well, we're going to try and get down to a water hole here somewhere. Let's head over to Alex in Djuma.
Yes, we are back with our hippos at the moment. We are here again at Gari Dam. The wind dying down a bit. The hippos treating us today. It looks like a young calf is actually with these ones here. Just wait to see. Hopefully that head will pop up again. There were two earlier. We'll just have to wait and see. It was quite brief. But it has been a fantastic time escaping to nature today. Of course, if you have just tuned in, welcome. You are with myself, Alex. We are in Djuma at Gari Dam. We've just left Cedric in Madikwe. And we have also been with Andrew across in Amakhala. Quite a bit going on. Andrew's been with cheetahs, and Cedric has had a number of things going on down there, as well with all of you letting us know what is your favorite antelope species. So very cool indeed. And of course, if you have just tuned in, this is a live and immersive experience, so do send through any of your questions or comments, anything else you wish to chat about. It is always fantastic when we do get to interact with you. And of course, if you are on the YouTube channel, please do subscribe so you can receive any of the other notifications that you may need or wish to receive from Wild Earth as well, informing you about all the other happenings that are going on. A little bit of a breeze picking up here right now. Just waiting to hear what else is really popping about in the bush. Cameroptera still around. The waterbuck did move off too. So in continuing the conversation of what our favorite antelopes are, for those of you wanting to know, mine is the sable. I'm also a big fan of roan too. Just cousins though, but sable definitely my favorite antelope. By far, hands down. So really awesome, lovely sitting here. And for those of you that aren't aware of it, Wild Earth's birthday is coming up. And please do send through any of your favorite videos that you may have caught over time, perhaps even screenshots, that type of thing. And if you do want to send those videos, please do send them through to birthday@wildearth.tv. Wild Earth will be having a birthday celebration on the 27th of April. So next month, roughly a month away. And it is our sweet 16th. So do come through. Please do send through anything of note, any of your favorite moments over the time. It will be fantastic to be able to have a look back and see any of those awesome moments. So it looks like there are only 2 hippos. It was just the head that popped out. I've just got a side glimpse of it. So just the 2 here still. There were 5 earlier on, as I said. And the one, or the cow with the 2 calves, having moved off, it seems. This one's perhaps a younger calf, maybe joining the pod. We'll just have to wait and see. But it seems that these 2 are going to be hanging here for some time. No complaints about that. We will just sit and enjoy them. Hopefully get the odd snort or yawn. That would be quite awesome. So black-headed orioles still about. There's also the odd black-crowned chagra too. Those are primarily the 2 bits of audio we are picking up on at the moment. Virtual starlings also about.
We hope that when you watch Wild Earth, you will fall in love with nature. We know that our explorers share a passion for nature and want to make a difference. Wild Earth Schools is back. Sign up to be an explorer and your subscription will help us reach the future conservationists of our planet. Invest in something that truly matters, encouraging children to care for our beautiful Wild Earth. Wild Earth Explorers, make a difference.
doesn't look like these two are going to be up too much. Probably going to have a little pan around. Try scan across to the right. There might be the odd water bird that we could pick up. Perhaps see someone different as well. But always cool to have the hippo back and around. Of course, we haven't seen the crocs for some time either. So it seems they've also pushed off. And we'll just have to wait and see. They'll also pick up some of that audio from the Natal spur files that are about. Did get quite a cool sighting, visual of one the other day, but they will be in the undergrowth, popping about there, kind of scraping around, looking for little seeds, the odd little grub or insect as well. Even little berries or fruits they may find. But it's time for us just to have a little pan through. Let's see if we can't pick up on anyone else. Perhaps there may be someone that has come through to join us. Otherwise, we'll keep our eyes peeled for any form of a waterfowl that may be about, and hopefully pick up on some of them. Just seeing if we can't pick out any other movement, perhaps coming down towards the waterhole. So we're still waiting to see who else may come through and join us here, but it is time for us to head across back to Andrew and see what he is looking at in Amakhala.
Thanks very much, Alex. So we've managed to find a little present for everybody at Mission Control, especially Nadine. This is a little present for you, Nadine. I'm just wondering if any of you might know what this is, but we've got a little bit of time left, so I'm just going to tell you. This is from a black wildebeest. Now, one thing you are going to notice about these little pellets is that they're all held together quite tightly, like a bunch of grapes almost. Shame, Nadine. Not at all, Nadine. Just getting some comments in my ear there from Nadine saying, does this reflect on her personality? Not at all, Nadine. Okay, so wildebeest, both species, black and blue, they do actually drink quite a lot of water. And because of this, and same goes with waterbuck as well, that they drink quite a bit of water, and when they expel the droppings out the body, a lot of it sticks together like this, and as the sun dries it up, these little clusters tend to harden and stay together, much like they're doing now. And if you want to use your imagination, sometimes you need to sort of associate certain things that you might know, so that you can try and remember these things in the future. For me, I always classified this as a bunch of grapes, and it's very easily identified as a black wildebeest. Very interesting, hey? It's all grass matter, all the pellets held together. I'm just going to turn the one upside down. Hello, Mike. Yo, Mike, to age this to be accurate is going to be very difficult, because if I just, pull one pellet off here, you'll see here it's very, very dry. So it's been here for a very, very long time. There's absolutely no moisture in here, so it could be a good few months old. Even longer. Totally, totally dry. So I don't know exactly how old it is, but it's going to be a good few months plus. Now you can see all the grass inside here. Here's all the grass that's been chewed up very, very nicely. So much so that it's so fine that as I brush my finger on it, you can see all that grass is sort of separating and then flying in the wind. And this is because the animal does ruminate the food, which means that they're able to rechew and rechew, and eventually it gets expelled the body after it's gone through the fourth chamber inside the stomach. And because of that, the dung is broken down very, very nicely. So the animal, because of the ability to ruminate, is getting maximum digestion and absorbing maximum nutrition out of what it's eating. It's a very clever stomach to have, because in an area where is grass and sometimes there is droughts and sometimes dry, just to be able to rechew it and rechew it, making it finer and finer and finer, allowing the chambers in the stomach to digest efficiently. So they actually make the most of what they're eating, if you think about it, really absorbing it. Now often enough, and we don't see them too often out here, but we do have a species of dung beetle out here which we see from time to time, and they're very rare. It's called the flightless dung beetle, and we get them out here on Amakhala, and they walk around. They don't fly, unfortunately. And I've often wondered, when I was a young man and I see the dung beetles pushing the balls, and I often wondered why they didn't use the pellets from the antelope, because it's already made into a pre-ball, so half the job is done. But now the dung beetles, they don't like the ruminators' dungs, because there's not much nutrition left in here. The nutrients have all been absorbed mainly. They are more after things like, elephant dung and warthogs' dungs, zebra dungs, and so on, because unfortunately for those individuals that I've just mentioned, they don't have the ability to rechew food. It's a very simple action for those animals, where the food just goes in, gets digested as best as the stomach can possibly do it, and then passes through the system. And that's the dungs that the dung beetles are after, because of the amount of nutrients still within the dung. Very interesting, that. And in fact, the individual is not too far from us. He's just on that hillside, just up on the top there. Should we take a look at him over there? He's also with some zebra at the moment. Paul, yeah, there are some butterflies that will drink the moisture out the dung. Quite a multitude of butterflies do that, actually. And often you see when elephants leave their droppings on the road, the moisture starts to, sometimes, especially when the road is slanted, all that moisture starts to drain out of the dung, and the butterflies really enjoy that, so that they can get the moisture. I'm not sure if butterflies lay eggs on animals' dungs. Perhaps there is a butterfly out there that I'm unaware of that is specialized enough to lay eggs inside dung. I don't know. Alex will probably have a bit of more information if there is such, because he is extremely knowledgeable on a wide variety of things. And often I do get a hold of Alex and I just ask him for a bit of help here and there. And there is the beautiful wildebeest just on top of that slope there, yet again. And there he is there. Darcy Miller, you say poor Nadine. How come poor Nadine? I'm providing presents. I'm giving presents to her. I think I'm being generous today, to be honest with you. Nadine, how do you feel about the dungs that I've given to you? I should wrap it up in some wrapping paper and courier it down to the office, I think. You must put it next to your bed. Nadine says she doesn't feel that's a present. Okay, well, that's okay. Darcy Miller has challenged me to do something. She wants me to do the dung spitting. Well, we still have some time left. I think we'll give it a go. Yeah, okay, let's give it a go. I'm going to come in the front of the vehicle here. We'll try and do some dung spitting for Darcy Miller. Okay, let me jump out the vehicle quickly. Luckily, I've got a wind over here. Okay, I wish Cedric was here because Cedric is incredibly good. Okay, so when it comes to dung spitting, or how do they call it in Afrikaans? It's the bok drol spoeg. Bok drol spoeg. The idea is to have more than one person. So you make a line on the ground. I love doing this with children. Oh, my shoe almost fell off there. I love doing this with children. So you just make a line on the ground. I'm going to do it towards the vehicle. How does that sound?
Alright, we just came back here to where, of course, this kill was, and we do have some of the, well, let me just volume on screen. Let's see if we can get some of these vultures here quickly. So some of these beautiful white-backed vultures are sitting on these dead trees around where that carcass is. And I thought maybe because they're sitting on top there, the line might be back again. But it seems like there's no activity at the carcass. It's just these vultures are just sitting and waiting for, I'm not too sure what. Maybe she is, yeah. Maybe we just can't see her. Of course, and then you know that vultures, they do enjoy feeding on carcasses when there's no predators around. And each one will also have a pecking order. So, but we don't get the hooded vulture here. We just the whiteback, and we get the Cape vulture. I haven't seen a hooded vulture this side, because usually you'll see when there's white-backed vultures around, you will find hooded vultures as well. Yeah. But you hear crows, so crows enjoy these carcasses as well. I hear something. So I'm just listening out there. Just hear that. But it sounds like a wildebeest calf, maybe calling for its mom. So it might have been what is a female wildebeest that was killed, and I think maybe the calf is now in the vicinity, busy calling. Yeah. So sometimes that could be detrimental to a calf. It could be detrimental for the poor calf, because sometimes what happens if the mother gets taken down, it happened, I've seen it before with buffalo as well. The mom gets taken down, the poor calf will come in and be there with mom while she's, being taken down by the predator, and then of course they will also just kill the calf while it's there. So it does happen. course, the two vultures that we've got on screen at the moment is the typical white-backed vultures, the most common vulture that we do get. As you can just see, the one busy preening itself in now, but all right, well, I just got to update quickly that, well, Andrew will continue his amazing bokdrolspoeg competitie, means buck dung spitting competition. He just had a couple of little issues, but he will continue with that. So yes, I'll have to challenge Andrew on that one as well, because nobody has beaten me on my bokdrolspoeg moments. So yes, I've been doing it since I was a kid, spitting dung, loving it. But you just got to get the right dung. It just has to be the right kind of wetness to it. So of course it comes out easy. And definitely try that out. Okay, Andrew, so you definitely open. Well, we will have to definitely do this one. So we will make it an event, if I can call it that. But yeah, anyway, we have to do it. You'll have to, of course, I think there's a pause down that side with Andrew, so you'll have to, of course, measure the length of which Andrew has spat that dung. And the vulture's thinking, you guys are crazy. Russ, yes, always nice just to escape to nature and just enjoy the beauty of our African animals and birds, like these beautiful vultures. Oh, it's just absolutely stunning. And of course the 3 male cheetahs that Andrew had down in Amakhala. Always nice to have those 3 boys. And definitely, as it says, escape to nature. The word says it all. But yes, definitely we will try, and hopefully later on this afternoon, maybe tomorrow morning again, try and follow up on this wildebeest carcass that's lying here. I'm hoping that maybe one day there's a lions do come back, but we tried to look for them this morning, and it unfortunately, lions 1, Igor and Cedric 0. But it's alright. It was still good just to be out here again and just to enjoy the beauty of nature, as always. But yes, I also definitely want to thank everybody once again just for joining us on Escape to Nature. Thank you so much for all the amazing questions and comments that you have sent through to us. Always nice just to keep us on our toes. And always nice just to hear all your comments and how much you do enjoy nature. But I'm hoping again tomorrow morning on Escape to Nature, I'm sure we will get some more things. Definitely, hopefully get to a nice dam and get a whole lot of elephants. Some big grey mammals. Oh. But yes, of course, from all these vultures that's hanging around here, and maybe from the lion that's lurking somewhere in the grass, and don't know where. I'm hoping to find it sooner or later. Have a wonderful day from the Wild Earth team. Thank you so much.